You're listening to Operation Self Reset with Jake Naraki. What is going on, you freaking awesome people? Welcome back to Operation Self Reset. My name is Jake Naraki, coming to you live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Each and every week, we dive into a different topic in the world of personal development. If you are a long-term listener, hello, welcome back. I apologize for the inconvenience of not providing great content every single week, even though I said I was going to, and then I didn't. And, I went like 5 years pumping out a podcast every single Wednesday. I loved it. Things got in the way. I have a young family. These are nothing but excuses, especially coming from a guy in the world of personal development. I do this podcast from the bottom of my heart. I am not part of a large company or organization that pumps out podcasts. I'm doing this from my home office. My wife is asleep along with my kids. This is when I jam on the podcast. Over the last couple months, I've been focusing on a promotional exam, and out of that, I don't know my results. And the reason why I bring that up is not to impress you, but to impress upon you a question that was kind of brought up in conversation with my kids. And it's funny, when I didn't have kids, I always thought it was kind of annoying how podcasters would talk about their family and how amazing their kids are, and kids, enlighten me to become my personal best. And now that I have 3 kids, they do bring out different sides of yourself, and they make you reflect on things. But I think the most important thing that kids do is they bring out conversation and ideas. And one idea that was brought out of conversation, I'm going to stop talking about my kids here, is the only person that stops you is blank. Like, it's a question, actually. It's an idea. And when you start to really think about the complications of life and the things that you want and the things that you're going towards and the things that are holding you back and the craziness and the excuses and the busy syndrome and everything in between, truly answer the question here. The only person that stops you is who? Is it excuses? Is it complications? Is it family? Is it a job? Is it your health? Is it medical reasons? And the list can go on and on and on, right? And unfortunately, when I sit here and I talk into a microphone and it goes into your car or your headphones or relates with you or is with you in whatever you're doing currently, it's kind of hard to do a one-stop-all answer, and especially there's no feedback from you, so it's kind of hard for me to justify my answer to this question. But the only person that stops you is, for me, my personal beliefs, and hopefully it affects you, is truly, the answer is, you ready for it? It's you. The only person that stops you is you. Now, it's a big drink of water. It's a tall glass that you got to put down, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, easier said than done. Jake, I know that I am an achiever. I am a guy that grinds. I do the hustle. I burn oil, all night long. I burn the candle on both sides of the stick. I go, go, go. But then why is it that you're not achieving everything that you want? It's not because of the lack of information. It's not because of lack of resources. It's not the lack of money, because as we know, there's people that have created great companies or ideas from nothing, and they created something out of it. It's not relationship building, because we all have access to online, which connects us and brings us closer together. It isn't by the way you look, because everybody's unique. Everybody looks different. It's not about your weight or your health. As much as we want to blame those and lean on those as excuses, but truly, if you boil it down to this essence, the only person that is stopping you is you. Going through a promotional process brought out this question. It's a question that I knew was the case of the only person that's holding me back is myself. But when I was discussing with my kids, and the kids were like, hey, did you do well on the exam? Did you do well on this and that? And I said, I don't know yet, but the only way to determine on how well I did is to kind of reflect on myself. And it brought out a conversation of saying that if you want something, the only person that's holding you back from achieving that ambition, goal, objective, thing is truly you. Because I could have dedicated more time to studying. I could have, right? I mean, look, we've all been in school before. This studying aspect is kind of easy for all of us to digest. We've all been in some type of educational institution where you need to put time in, right? If you want to learn something or get good at your craft, you need to put the time in. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I put as much time as I could have. If you look back, probably not, right? I mean, you could have went to bed a little later. You could have woke up earlier. You could have found a couple of hours while you're driving your car instead of listening to the radio or other podcasts. You could have recorded yourself and played that back in the car. Now, you might be thinking this is obsessive, and Jake, there needs to be time to have a break, and there needs to be time for balance and life-work balance and all different types of things. And I think that's truly valid. I think that's really believable, and I think there's a lot of good essence that comes out of it. I'm a family man, family comes first. But at the end of the day, when it's you versus whatever it is that you're going for, the only reason why you didn't achieve that goal is most likely because of you. It's easy to digest it in a studying application, right? If you didn't fare well in the exam, it's probably because you didn't study every little bit that you could have. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I can't study every little bit. I'm not that smart. I don't know what it is. I tried flashcards and that didn't work. I don't know what that voice was. But regardless, we all understand that there's limitations to what we quote unquote think we can accomplish. But there is the human potential. There is this thing called a growth mindset of understanding that you have the potential to become the best. You have the potential of growing and becoming better in all different types of things. We see it from extreme athletes from the Olympics, of people that have dedicated their young adulthood of mentally and physically being absolutely clear on the objective and goals that they want for themselves, and then them obtaining it. I think that's why we're so obsessed with achievers. We never read books about losers on how, Joe Bob, I'm just using that as a generic name. If you're Joe Bob listening to this does not represent you by any means. I'm kidding here, of course. We don't learn or read about Joe Bob, the loser who decided to become the next millionaire, and he woke up the next day and quit on himself. That's first of all, a really short story. B, it doesn't apply. And C, nobody wants to learn about that or read about that. And so we understand that if we want to become, what we're obsessed about is becoming our personal best. And in that transition of being your personal best, you're going to stretch on your applications. You're going to stretch your ability to your quote-unquote limits. And as we all know, we all have personal limits and boundaries where we can't bypass. But if you think about the wide picture, and now reflecting for me personally on the experience of understanding what was in that test that I didn't study in the books, made me realize that I didn't push myself to that 10th degree. Walking into that exam, did I feel good? Yes. Did I feel confident? Yes. Did I feel like I knew the material? Yes. Walking out of that exam made me realize the loopholes, the areas I didn't touch on as good as I should have, the areas that I bypassed, or because I was having a crabby day or a day that I didn't feel like studying, that I skimmed over as opposed of immensely going over. And when you can realize that, you realize that the only person that is stopping you is you. The same with anybody that is going on a diet, that is trying to lose the weight. Why is it that you did not accomplish your goal? It wasn't because somebody threw you down on the table, strapped your arms and legs down, opened your mouth up with a vice grips, and jammed food into your body, or injected you with sugar for the next 90 days. The reason why you didn't accomplish your goal when it came to your weight was you, 100%. Nobody else was forcing food in your mouth. You, unfortunately, sideline that goal at that moment. Not saying that you're never going to be able to do it again, but again, a very easy application for me to interject. The only person that is stopping you is you. Now, it can go in any realm, from relationships. Why did relationships go south? Is because of you. Either you hated that person, you didn't want it to succeed, or you chose to be kind of the jerk in the relationship and not flex and not be willing to work on it, and the relationship fell apart. Diet, studying, entrepreneurship, grinding and trying your best, hustling, relationship building, connections, getting good at a craft or skill. Truly, the only reason why you did not get with that thing, the only person that stopped you is truly you. And I know I'm rambling here a little bit. I'm trying to bring up any type of an example that can apply to you. And I want you to really let this sink in. Let this really be a part of you, and understand that if you really do want to be your personal best, you need to understand, and there are going to be self-sabotage moments of where you're going to step in your own way. You're going to tell yourself that you need a break. You're going to tell yourself that you need a cheat day. You're going to tell yourself to focus more on this instead of that. You're going to focus more on fill in the blank, whatever it is for you, and you are going to self-sabotage yourself. And so when I reflect on personal development and what it takes to be your best, and all these great quotes and ideas of motivation and inspirational stories and all that stuff is all awesome and great, and it's good fuel for the fire. But when that fire starts to dwindle, who's going to get in the way? It's yourself. When the motivation starts to slip, when the exhaustion starts to step in, who is going to pat your back and tell you it's okay to stop or it's okay to take a break? It is you. When you look at endurance athletes, what do you think they're thinking about? Do you think over the course of 26 miles or even greater, of the people that are doing back-to-back marathons, do you think they're talking about how awesome they are and they're going to accomplish it and they're the best ever? No. But probably a majority of their conversation is about them wanting to stop, but it's about their bigger being, their bigger brain saying, no, I can do this. And they're fighting that demon of saying stop, how good it's going to feel to relax, how good it would feel to stop running at that moment. And what do you think happens? They battle that relentlessly. They battle that to the end. They battle that until they pass that finish line. Now, again, there are some people that are hardcore and all they think about is the goal and objective, and they get it and they get it done. But for the majority of people that are possibly listening to this podcast, because we are all human and some of us want to be more energized and motivated and goal-driven than our previous selves, you're listening to this because you're looking for a little guidance. And I'm telling you, the only person that is going to stop you from whatever it is that you personally want isn't anybody else. It is truly you. If you don't have the time isn't, we all have 24 hours. The time needs to be manufactured by you. You need to set bold lines. You need to separate yourself from your family or whatever to get the job done, whatever it takes. You need to get out of the way of you. Easier said than done. I totally get it. I understand where you're coming from. I'm, born and raised in the Midwest. We have good values of good family values. I married a wife that really embraces good values, good family balance. And when that family balance is out of whack, she does not like that. And so I need to create time in my life to get the things done that I want to get done. And is that going to sacrifice my energy? Is that going to sacrifice the bigger picture? Possibly. But I know that the only person that is standing in the way of what I personally want is me. The only person standing in the way of me having financial peace and financial freedom is me pulling out my wallet and spending money. It's kind of crazy, right? But it's the truth. So I want you to reflect on you. I want you to think about what it is that you want. Financially free, weight, promotion, studying, craft, skill, entrepreneurship, business, or just getting good at making cakes. Whatever it is, who is going to stop you? Is it going to be the world? Is it going to be somebody close to you? Is it going to be a business partner? Is it going to be your health? And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of factors that stand in the way. But at the end of the day, when you decide to go to bed early instead of stay up an extra hour, or you decide to hit the snooze as opposed to wake up, or you decide to open the cupboard full of the junk food as opposed to get the almonds, or instead of pulling out your credit card because you have an impulse buy and you really want those new shoes, who is standing in the way? Chances are 90% of the time it is you. We've all been there. We've all had the internal chatter of people wanting to get in our way, but at the end of the day, it is truly us that is getting in the way. So this is going to be a shorter podcast. Hopefully it hits home. I don't feel like I need any elaborate stories. I think we all understand it. We all get it. Easier said than done, 100%. I'm not saying it is easy. I'm not saying, sacrifice everything. But at the same time, you need to know what it is that you're going for. If you're going for a promotion, you know it's going to be temporary. You know you're not going to be studying for the rest of your life. If you're trying to become a doctor, you need to understand that it's going to stink for the next 6 to 8 years. If you're trying to get financially free, you need to understand that it's going to stink for the next 10 months, 12 months, 36 months, whatever it is. But you will get there. The only person that's standing in the way is truly you. So with that being said, have a great freaking awesome day. Have a great week. I hope to continue this. I appreciate the love and support. I apologize for not being there for you guys when you need it most. And with that being said, go out there and give a little bit of freaking awesomeness to somebody else, or give a little bit of freakiness to somebody that could use it. Hey, whatever floats your boat, as they say. So with that being said, I thank you for your time. Have a great evening. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you.